Welcome to our hilarious gala. Today we chat about funny stories of protecting classic Rakugo. Silly Zhu can't stop laughing. The next day, fired up, Zhu saw his master, subtly inquiring, and the master began to speak slowly. Hearing his master's resolute words, Zhu instantly fell into despair, and expecting a vastly different attitude from a teacher. The master noticed Zhu's gloom and couldn't help but comfort him. His affection for Zhu was completely obvious. With such an outstanding apprentice, the master felt profoundly proud, and in the following moments, to enhance Zhu's fame, the master organized a Rakugo event. Zhu can now be on posters too. Looking at the poster, Zhu couldn't help but tear up. He must perform spectacularly this time. For this performance, Zhu practiced day and night, losing sleep. Cyoxia quietly supported him from behind. Finally, the performance day arrived. Bayan called Zhu backstage. Kid, you've been frequenting the red light district too much lately, be careful. Hearing this, Zhu blushed like a ripe tomato and hurriedly explained, Master, I'm not what you think. The next second, Zhu took off his shirt, revealing his back tattoo. It turns out he just went to get it colored. Zhu told his master that he would be performing the skit taught by him during the show, and was looking forward to his master being present to witness his growth and express his gratitude. The performance had 3 parts. Zhu warmed up first, paving the way for his master, who was secretly delighted backstage. Zhu's crew thrilled Bayan, though he kept it to himself. After Zhu finished, it was finally Bayan's turn. He told a story called The Scent of Lost Souls. The story was about a samurai and his deceased wife communicating through souls, and Bayan began speaking of the samurai lighting the resurrection. Suddenly, Bayan wanted to give this performance meaning, but little did he know the truth would reveal itself. This performance was for Zhu, but he found himself getting pulled in too. Just as Bayan spoke of the samurai lighting the resurrection incense, a figure suddenly appeared before him. Bayan felt puzzled, yet he pushed himself to continue until he finally collapsed on the high seat. Luckily, the curtain fell just in time, and the audience didn't notice anything unusual. Zhu and Cyoxia hurried up to the stage. When Bayan opened his eyes, he saw an endless candle corridor with his long-missed senior brother. His senior brother didn't speak, just reached out and grabbed Bayan by the neck. What a peculiar reunion. The performing man suddenly saw his long-deceased ex-girlfriend smiling at him, beckoning like she was calling him. The man broke into sweat, fell on stage, and awoke in hell. He had never anticipated encountering his much-missed senior brother in this very spot, and in this moment he said absolutely nothing, merely existing in silence, lost in his own thoughts. But the senior brother remained silent, instead grabbing Bayan by the neck, causing him to lose consciousness once again. Zhu and Cyoxia rushed over to Bayan, and the backstage staff arrived to perform first aid. However, Bayan looked steadfastly at Zhu, and he realized his master's message. He was eager to find Cyoxia. That's what the master meant. Even when lives are at stake and loved ones are lost, the show must go on. At this moment, Zhu was frantic, sweating profusely, wanting to fly to his master's bedside right away. Despite this, he had to force a smile, casually taking off his rain cover, pretending like nothing happened. Day segment was taught by his master. Zhu remembered his teachings with every word, feeling a mix of emotions. However, Zhu was merely pretending to be happy as time trickled away. Finally, the skit ended, and the audience applauded warmly. Zhu bowed deeply, thanking everyone. Tears flowed uncontrollably as Zhu rushed to the hospital, where the master finally opened his eyes, and everyone celebrated in joy. It was a miracle, and everyone cheered, except for Bayan, who looked gloomy. He just wished he could come back. Bayan felt bitter, perhaps for a Rakugo artist. Dying on stage was the best outcome. Yet nothing went according to his wishes. He longed to see his senior brother quickly, feeling increasingly desolate. Bayan's life was full of sorrow, scarred by family trauma as a child and hurt by Rakugo in his youth. Love was no exception. In middle age, loneliness followed him like a shadow. Living in old age was a torment in itself. After this incident, Bayan was too afraid to perform Rakugo, fearing he might see those scenes again. Seeing Bayan like this, everyone's heart ached for him. Even Cyoxia quietly cheered for him. Ioxie understood that Rakugo was Bane's final obsession. Trying to save him felt futile. But Bane responded coldly, and Ioxie's attempts at persuasion ultimately proved unsuccessful, leaving her heart feeling utterly desolate and desperate inside. However, Jiulu didn't give up and finally found the last footage of the previous Jiulu. He saw how his master used to joyfully tell Rakugo, exuding charm back then. Everyone watching the footage couldn't help but applaud, feeling like they were transported back in time. In the previous Jiulu's performance, everyone was deeply moved, stirred in their hearts, feeling the legacy of Jiulu. They were determined to present this performance to the master, reigniting his passion for Rakugo.